So we're back.
Okay.
Here we are. Let's try this again.
You guys, thank you. This is ridiculous. We just want to talk to you.
I know, this is crazy.
So, first of all, thank you so much for your patience. If you were able to leave the previous stream and come back to this stream, thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys.
Here.
Really appreciate it. Heartfelt, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Had to restart the computer twice.
We did a couple things. We were running around during that small break. We'll
kind of. What do we do? What do we do? So here we are. We made it.
We're even discussing a new laptop, maybe coming up soon. So
a little spendy, but we'll figure it out. Yeah. So, So, hi.
Hi. Let's start over. Go ahead.
We're Allison and Sean, Spoken Garden. If you don't know. Today's been an interesting day.
I'm still blaming the heat for this one.
Yes, and hopefully we're laughing about it. Hopefully you're laughing about it too. These things happen.
I know, like Mark Pando said in the other stream, we had a great chat going with everybody joining in and saying hi. So we hope that a lot of you were able to join us on this new stream. Yeah. But Mark was mentioning last week he wasn't able to be here, and he just felt he just felt off until he watched the replay.
You know, it's never the same when not everybody is here. And we definitely missed you, Mark. If you're watching it live or if you're seeing the replay, we missed you too, man. And so we're glad you were able to get to you were able to see us in our previous stream today that had all the technical difficulties. Yeah, our second live today. Who gets to say that? But yeah, so just glad everybody's here, that you can make it, you can make the time. We can talk about plants, we can talk about gardening, and we can enable each other to just have fun in the garden and learn new things.
Buy more plants.
Buy more plants.
Because we love plants and flowers. So Jennifer Tennyson, thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. She was so thankful. She was here in the chat saying, you know what, it's always so frustrating when when tech just goes wrong and during your presentation.
And if you can't figure it out.
She's like, I've been there myself, hang in there. And then she came on and said, she let us know that it's looking great. Video and audio sounds good. She said, deep breath.
Oh, good. Okay.
And Mark's here. Mark is
Mark.
back.
Yes,
so you guys,
Mark,
we're making a comeback. Redo. So I feel like we need to just kind of start over.
Everybody breathe.
Like Jennifer said, deep breaths. Just okay. So we hope you're having a wonderful Saturday so far. Yes. I know we've heard from some of you, it's really hot where you are.
Yeah, it's hot here too.
It's hot here too. We're getting ready for that, gearing up for really hot weather coming up.
100 degrees here today. Let us know, let's all commiserate about how hot it is, where everybody's at. If you're watching, let us know how warm it's going to get where you're at, or how hot it is right now where you are at, right now watching the live. And because, it's always kind of cathartic to find out, well, it's hot here too. Well, it's hot here too. And oh my God, it's so warm. So, yeah. So let us know.
Yeah. So we're so excited you're here. We're talking, and if you were on the previous chat, I'm sorry that some of this might be redundant, but at least you get to see us saying it this time. Yeah. So go ahead and...
Well, Allison presented this last time, and I'm just holding on to it. If you want to go ahead, you can.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So today's topic is natural pest control for flowers. So we're all dealing with pests. I know Kim Matlock mentioned in the other chat that she's starting to deal with, she thinks they're thrips and maybe Japanese beetles.
Yeah, both nasty pests in the garden.
And we hate aphids.
We do. We hate aphids. It's okay. And so, whether you're vegetable gardening or you're flower gardening, ornamental gardening, it doesn't really matter, because the pests, a lot of them are the same, whether you're vegetable gardening or flower gardening. And we wanted to talk to you today about natural garden pest control and how to go about doing it, and some strategy, and then also just control, some control options for you that are non-chemical. We might talk a little bit about some chemical, but not very much. But it's always an option. If nothing else works, it's always good to have something in your back pocket to really get after those pests with. But with our topic today, we're giving away this book. This is written by Susan Mulvihill. She's a vegetable gardener for many years, and she's got her own YouTube channel, Susan's in the Garden. Or
Susan's in the Garden.
Susan's in the Garden. Right. Yeah, Susan's in the Garden. She's here on YouTube. She's got a great channel full of all sorts of vegetable tips, growing tips. She's been doing it for so many years. She also has, not only is this her second book, and her book right here is the Vegetable Garden Pest Handbook. Awesome book. It's very user-friendly. You can read through this, and as you read through this, you can take what's in this book and apply it right then and there out into your garden. Isn't that nice? that's really cool. And so not only is this her second published book, but she has a weekly column in the Spokesman Review newspaper where she lives out in Spokane, Washington. And she's had that for many years. She's also a master gardener. She's awesome.
She's so awesome, you guys.
We feel so grateful that we can actually partner with her to give away her book today to you guys, to a lucky winner, and that'll happen. We're going to have an online givever.
Yeah,
and that'll happen later on on this live. We'll do that giveaway then. But what was I going to say?
We're just I'm not sure.
There was more.
I know, that's.
It's crazy.
We're kind of like, we're frazzled a little bit. But go ahead.
We're actually, we have, Susan was really nice, and she sent us a video to show you guys so she can introduce herself and then also tell you some great tips, some really easy tips to take care of some really common garden pests, vegetable garden pests that are still flower garden pests
that
too.
Hit and attack flowers, yeah, totally.
And so we've got a video from her. We're going to show you that a little bit later. So anyway,
I love that. That's fun. We're so thankful to be able to present these to you. We've met so many amazing people in this in our gardening career, and we want to share them with you and just highlight them because you definitely should follow. Susan has an awesome YouTube channel. I think you said that.
She does.
So
she really does. Go check that out
again,
if you can.
Yeah, Susan's in the garden.
Susan's in the garden.
So anyway, we're.
Oh, well, I wanted to say from our previous stream early this morning where we were having technical difficulties, it's actually hard to talk right now, there was somebody in the chat named Nebula?
Nebula Dust.
Nebula Dust.
Is the type.
And I don't know if she's here or not, but she said she has also a YouTube channel where she shows her garden flowers. And so that is so cool, and we want to go really check that out. So we wanted to mention that because that was part of the previous stream. So trying to keep it all together.
I know.
So,
now we've merged.
Yeah.
I love Mark's comment a couple minutes ago. He said, "Technology is a pest." How's that?
That's right.
Perfect. That's like
That's
our
right.
mantra
It's
for
a techno pest for the garden.
Techno pest.
Yes.
Let's see. A lot of people are chiming in with their current weather. I'm sure
cool. Let's hear about it.
A lot of you are used to this and probably laughing at us in the PNW here, but it's normal time of year temp for us right now. It'd probably be maybe 75.
Maybe. It's usually overcast.
Yeah.
There's more rain. There's more moisture. Usually our summer here doesn't start until July 5th.
Like after the 4th of July. Every year. It's like, oh, it's summer now.
Yep. That's when our summer really starts. But this year, no.
So here's what we've got going on around. Okay, so first of all, good morning to Maureen Levy, who said she found us by Googling how to deadhead coneflowers.
Oh, cool.
Found our channel and is joining us. So good morning, Maureen.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I know.
Yeah.
And it looks like Maureen lives in Austin. So it's 98 there today. And she says it's going to be hot until October, she said.
So and that's totally funny. So sorry, it's not funny that it's going to be hot there until October. It's funny from the aspect that today it's going to be hotter here than it is in Austin.
I know.
That to me is a little.
Well, it's
a little bonzo nuts.
It's a little flippy.
I know
it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Sharon LaFay, thank you for coming back again, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon says it's going to be probably 106 in Portland and 110-ish tomorrow, Sunday.
You guys are getting hit harder than we are.
I know it. Well, that kind of makes sense. I think I saw a weather report for Portland, and it is a couple degrees warmer than here.
Mm-hmm. And it's further inland too.
Yeah. That could be. I mean, we're not too far from the water. Maybe a couple hours.
We have what's called Puget Sound up here that keeps a lot of where we're at cool. Because of the water right there, we get a really cooling effect from the water and that Puget Sound that comes in. But it might look like on the map we're like really just lined up, but we have that body of water that comes in where Portland really doesn't. They've got I think it's Hood River it's the Columbia that comes through there, but it's not like the Puget Sound. It's not a body of water like Puget Sound.
It gets a lot hotter down that way. Yeah. So stay cool, Sharon. Keep yourself safe.
Drink lots of water. Stay
lots
hydrated.
Of water. I know that's our plan too. And Jennifer said it's 102 there. She said that's not that unusual for the Sacramento Valley this time of year.
Oh, wow.
So 102. Wow.
Wow.
Mark, I know Mark hasn't mentioned his heat, but he's in, I think, El Paso, and I'm sure it's.
It's got to be at least 100 there.
It's hot, getting hotter every day. Okay, you guys. So enough about the weather, but us gardeners, we're obsessed with weather.
It's part of gardening.
Well, it's part of gardening, and we were thinking it might be helpful. I mean, these are things top of mind for us right now. Are heat tips for the garden, like what can you do? I mean, for example, we have a lot of new plantings in the last couple weeks, and we're kind of a little concerned, right now.
Very concerned.
So do we run out and cover them, you know, and protect them by creating more shade? Lots of water, you know, that kind of stuff.
So, yeah, so some tips for you guys that we're
let's do
actually
that
gonna, we were gonna do it a little bit later, but we'll do it now. So this is cool, because it's top of mind with weather. So what we're gonna do, because of this heat for the next couple days, is we're gonna do a couple things to protect our plants. One of the things is we are gonna water like crazy in the morning, early morning. Definitely not gonna get up at dawn. It's just not gonna happen for us. We can't rise that early. It's just not in us. But we'll definitely get up, and the very first thing we're going to do is go out and water our plants in the coolest time of day that we can. And the reason to do that, the best reason to do that is because you want to get the plants the water, as much water as you can, but you want to do it too when they're not transpiring and when they're not breathing, they're not respiring at a high level, and they would be in the heat, in direct sun, or in the heat of the day if they're full shade plants. They're going to respire faster. They're going to be breathing out the oxygen. They're going to be releasing more water in their leaves. It's just going to go out in their, you know, and how they respire. They're going to use more water anyway in their biological systems. So when that happens, when it's warmer and they're doing that, it's not a great time to water, because it's basically like putting gas into a hot engine. It's going to burn the gas probably faster. I'm not a combustible engine expert by any means, but it's just a good analogy, I think. When you have something that's hotter, like a fry pan, let's say, a fry pan, you put something in a fry pan that's already hot, it's going to cook something faster. Same thing with plants. If it's warmer outside, the plant's already it's already kind of warmed up. It's already going through its process of just using any available moisture to keep itself alive and its biological systems going. So when you add more water, it's just going to suck it up even faster to keep everything going, especially if it's already wilting. So water your plants in the coolest times of the day or in the less stressful times of the day when the plant is a lot. It's just, all of its biological systems are slower, it's cooler, it'll really appreciate that. And so that's one thing we're going to do, is just water continuously in the morning as soon as we can. The other thing we're going to do for our potted plants, because it's going to be so hot and the sun is going to be so intense around here, we're actually going to take a lot of our pots, we're going to try to anyway, we're going to take our pots that are already in full sun, we're going to try and move them.
I know, we have some real tender ones as well that are kind of newish, or that just came in the mail in the last couple weeks from Proven Winners. So we're kind of like,
and we just planted those, so they're still
some of
going
those are
through
planted.
transplant shock.
I know.
So, and that's kind of a different subject. It's a little bit related, but a little bit different. So any of the potted plants, even the established ones that have been growing for a year or two already in those pots, we got to move them, or we got to cover them somehow with some shade to keep that intensity off of them. So if you can do that, try to do that. Get them, and at least if you can't do that to all of them, try and get the plants that you can move out of the intense heat of the day, like, you know, from like 1 to maybe 5 o'clock or so. Whenever the intensity is so high, the highest in your area, get them moved under some type of shade. Get them protected, because that's going to really help them not be so stressed out or even cook in this hot, hot sun. Another thing is like Allison just said, we have some newer plants we added to our garden. They're
like
going
recently,
through, they're going through transplant shock anyway, so they're already stressed out. And so one of the things you want to do for any transplant shock plants is just make sure they're well hydrated and they're getting all the things that they need, like fertilizer, and actually even mulching around them to keep their roots cooler and protected and insulated from any intense sun is always a good idea. So, but even with this intense heat, we really got to keep an eye on our plants. So something we might end up doing is taking like a tarp, and we're going to rig something up so the sun's completely off of them, at least in the intense times of the day.
No, especially there's a couple, if you caught, that was this previous week's video actually, or this week. We just planted in a shade, kind of partial shade area, but there is a little window of like full kind of sun from maybe like 3:30 to 5.
Something like that,
It's pretty hot, right?
It's really hot. It's direct sunlight. And these are partial shade plants, partial sun plants, maybe full sun. But we're actually trialing some of these, so we're not really sure how they're going to do in our climate anyway, let alone with the intense heat we're going to get the next couple of days.
Well, and one of them, if you that video was just a few days ago, and one of them is a begonia. It's this gorgeous begonia, but it's actually kind of a sun or shade begonia, which is really unusual. So, and it's the one that's right on the end getting the full sun. So we definitely want to keep that If any of them, like that's the one we definitely want to keep protected.
So yeah, so I mean, we've got some work ahead of us for the rest of the day, just trying to keep our plants happy and not even just like super stressed out. If you can do any of these things, try to do that to help your plants out. They'll love you for it. Literally, they will thrive. They'll be healthy. So if you can do that, do any of these things that we just talked about.
I know, those are great tips. Yeah, we're going to be probably running outside continuing some of this after the live today. But again, so let's see. So real quick, back to the chat.
Yeah.
Kim is bragging that it's in the 80s and 90s there. She said they've had a pretty awesome, after I know you guys had that crazy rain, and then it's not too bad, it sounds like right now.
Okay, well good, Kim. Yeah,
she said it's pretty nice.
That's awesome.
It's been pretty good the last week or so.
Yeah.
Jay Harrison in Florida said she's growing gills because they've had so much rain. So
hey,
I think you got our weather.
Yeah, did we just change?
I know.
We just trade
like,
weather.
What?
I mean, we're getting yours, you're getting ours. Can we trade back?
She said she can't remember the last time she actually saw the sunshine. That's crazy.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's literally what we usually have here.
But you know what? Enjoy it.
I know, right? Get all that rain. Collect as much of it as you can. Because now we're kind of like,
yeah, I know.
Our rain barrels are like running dry.
I know, and we're actually getting really parched out here. It's dry.
Yeah, it's dry. It's
I mean,
weird.
If you don't know, if you're in the Midwest or even in the east of the U.S., you might not know this. We're in a drought right now. Most of the western United States is in a drought, and so they're forecasting it to be really bad this year. So if you're getting any rain, be thankful. Knock on wood, be thankful that you're getting it, because we're not getting it.
But if you're not used to it, you're just like, where's the sun?
Oh, totally.
Right? I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Andrea B., good morning. Thank you for joining us, Andrea. And Andrea said she's battling thrips like crazy on her petunias.
Sorry,
so she's
Andrea.
going to be paying close attention today.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got some great tips.
Thrips are covered in Susan Mulvihill's newest book, Vegetable Garden Pest Handbook. We are giving this book away today, you guys. So if you want to enter, you know how much we love giveaways. Which, by the way, Sharon, if you're still here, Sharon LaFay, your watering wand that you won last week will be going out soon.
Yep, we're sending it out on Monday. Yep.
I'm sorry we haven't got that in the mail yet, but it will be out to you very soon.
Yep, Monday. It's going out.
So Susan's book, we did mention this in the previous stream, but let's start over. So we're running a contest today again for this book. If you'd like to win, let us know by dropping your name in the chat, and let us know, what did we say last time? You had
we said last time, let us know what you're battling in your garden and if this book would help you. So it sounds like some of you have already said you're battling some things already, some pests. So I think they're entered.
So, well, if you want to enter, maybe if you wouldn't mind dropping it back, we'll start right now. So, because we're not sure if they want the book.
But why make them rewrite it?
I know, that's true. But we don't know if you want to enter or not yet, right? So.
Okay.
So Jennifer said she already got I think it was Jennifer said she already got a copy of the book.
Yes, which is super awesome.
Yay.
Yeah, super awesome.
So you guys, that is up for today. So let's get into some questions. So we have a really good question from Neri Ailman, who leaves a lot of awesome comments on our videos. So we really are thankful for that.
Totally.
So, okay, Neri asks, what zone am I in? Neri lives in Kearns, Utah.
Yeah, so
Kearns, Utah.
So I had to look this up because I'm not familiar with Kearns, Utah. It is actually just outside the city limits of Salt Lake City, Utah. And so we looked it up for you, Neri. Super cool that you asked us about that. Zone 7A. So, and what that means is you there in Kearns, Utah, your average lowest temperature range there, because it's zone 7A, means that your lowest temperature range there is 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is the average lowest extreme temperatures for that zone that the USDA has deemed in your area. So any plants, and how to apply this is that any plants that are zoned for 7A or above, or 7A is in their zoning for where they can grow, that means they're hardy in that area, and they will be hardy to those lowest temperatures of 0 degrees to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So, and if you want to go check out what your zone is, if you don't know what your zone is and you want to know what it is, you want to see it on a map, and just FYI, Allison and I are like map nerds. We love maps. Anything maps. You know, road maps, USDA hardiness maps, dare I say even treasure maps? Maybe not treasure maps, but yeah, I mean kind of fun. Anyway, so they have, the USDA has a map available for free online. And I had to write it down because it's a little long. So it's if you want to go check out your zone and figure it out, it's really easy to use. Type into the address bar on your browser, plant hardiness, all one word, .ars.usda.gov.
Would it be easier if I just put it in the chat?
That would be awesome.
Okay, let's do that too.
So, yeah. So anyway, so you can go there, find your, type in either your zip code or find your state in the drop-down menu, and you can find where you live, and you can match it to the zone key that they have. They have a key legend on each map. And so that's super cool. So yeah, it's always good to know that zoning. It gives you a really good idea of your temperature ranges, where you're living, and then also you get that zone number and that letter association, and that helps you figure out which plants are zoned and can grow in your area, so that are hardy in your area. So good stuff to know.
You know what I think is, I totally agree. I mean, you kind of have to have your zone. You kind of need to know that. You know, a lot of people maybe aren't aware. But what I find really interesting is like our zone here, we're zone 8B, and we're the same zone as Austin, Texas, if I'm not mistaken, at least part of Austin.
Yeah, which is
totally different climates.
Very,
so it's
very
interesting that plants would be sold for our zones, which may not grow the same in the same areas.
Yep.
So that always kind of makes me just pause a minute and be like, really?
Yeah, because I don't think our climate here, yeah, totally. And you know, our climate here is a very Mediterranean type of climate. It's a very temperate climate. And I've never been to Austin. I don't know much about it.
Oh,
it's
very fun.
But I'm going to take a guess and say it's not a Mediterranean climate.
It's pretty dry and hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as hot as like probably further south, like El Paso, area.
And I'm going to take a wild guess here and say Austin doesn't get as much rain as we do.
Right.
So to say that they're they're the same zones is interesting. No judgment.
I know, right? No, it's just
judgment. Yeah, it
just makes you wonder. It's like, oh, interesting.
Huh. So anyway, so good stuff. Always good to know your zone. So yeah, I guess should we move on to the next?
Yeah, just 1 second. Sorry,
okay.
I'm like.
No, I can read it. That's fine.
Oh, I want to read it.
Oh, okay. She wants to read it.
I just there's a lot of you entering the contest, which is awesome. So I was trying to keep up.
Awesome.
So yes, and good morning. Tamara Wilcox is joining us. So thank you,
good morning, Tamara.
Nice to have you here and meet you. And
thanks for being here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on. So the question 2 is from Yiana or Yayana. I'm not sure.
Or Iana.
Iana.
Maybe
I'm sorry
the
for saying that wrong.
Yeah.
Yiana had a great question on a video, how to pinch fuchsia cuttings.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Yayana just got a $1 Princess Fuchsia, beautiful, 2 weeks ago. She says, I just learned about pinching. She just learned about it. Is it too late to pinch? Should I remove where the small buds are? Thanks in advance.
That's a good question.
So pinching.
Really good question. Yeah, pinching fuchsias. Now, to back up just a little bit, you want to pinch your fuchsias usually to make them more compact and to get them to grow out instead of up. And you want to get them you keep pinching over so many weeks throughout a year to help them grow and branch out, to get bushier, to get thicker, and to help them trail down. Especially if you have them in a basket or a hanging basket and you want them to hang and trail over, pinching is a great way to train them to actually just go over instead of growing up. Because if you don't pinch them, you might not know this. If you don't pinch your fuchsias, they're going to go up. not just out, they're going to grow up like a small shrub. So what you see as a hanging basket when you buy them, or even in a basket and they're trailing over, they've been trained by pinching and grown in a specific way to have that form that you can enjoy, that we all can enjoy, because we have a couple of them.
We love fuchsias.
Yeah, fuchsias are beautiful. And so, so for pinching, if you want to pinch Iana right now, you can. That's perfectly fine. But make sure you realize when you pinch or you even prune out certain parts of that plant, any of the buds and the flowers that have already developed or that are starting to develop, you probably already know this, it's kind of logical, they go away, right? You're removing them. So the plant has to redevelop those parts, those flowers. It has to regrow all that, and that comes with just a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, depending on where you live and how they're getting fertilized and stuff, where they're growing. That'll happen. So just realize when you pinch them, if there's any buds that like flower buds that are starting to develop, you'll be removing those, and it'll take a while for the plant to then regrow those buds to flower again. It's going to want to reflower. It's going to be delayed. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean, we're just in the beginning of summer, so you have plenty of time to pinch them and to help them, to keep them watered, fertilize them once a week or every other week.
Which we need to do.
We need to do.
That's on our list.
But you're definitely going to get that regrowth, and you'll get those flowers, definitely. So just work with that. Super awesome. Great question.
I know, that is a great question. I mean, we're still pinching some of our petunias to kind of train them to be a little bit bushier.
Our cuttings.
Some of them are kind of growing a little tall.
Yeah, we actually took cuttings last year, and we need to pinch ours too. And it's just a process of keeping up on that, keeping them branching and growing out and not up. And so good stuff.
It's always fun.
Yeah, do this.
Okay, so we've got some questions going on in the chat, so maybe let's pause really quick.
Pause on that.
Sharon had a really good question about her clematis.
Ooh, clematis.
So we love clematis. Yeah. We wish we grew more of them. We don't have a lot of full sun kind of.
And ours this year is just
areas.
Last year was better than this year.
Yeah, well, I feel like we transplanted it, and I think I don't know. I think maybe it's going through a little bit of shock.
We transplanted a couple. The one we didn't transplant, we really cut it back like halfway after it started regrowing. It hasn't really recovered.
I don't know if it's getting enough sun, though, to be honest. But okay, so clematis, sorry. Sharon's having a problem with spotting and leaves turning yellow and dying.
Ooh.
Any ideas what that could be?
Sorry that's happening.
I'm sorry about that, too.
Could be a couple things going on. It depends to something to think about. Is that happening throughout the whole plant, or is it just the bottom portion, the older parts of the plant that have started to grow, like the older leaves? In that part of the stem, or is it throughout the plant? If it's throughout the plant, it could be a little bit of a sign of either over or under watering. It could be, there could be some other things going on there too. But if it's just the lower portion of the plant, sometimes that happens. The plant just keeps growing, and in general, plants just keep growing, and they'll shed those older leaves. And sometimes they'll turn brown or yellow or whatever. If it could be a nutrient deficiency too for the plant. Definitely if it's turning yellow. A couple things to think about is to make sure it's getting regular watering, but not over or under watering, and give it a little bit of fertilizer. Give it a well-balanced fertilizer, a liquid or time release, pelleted. Give it a shot of fertilizer and see if that helps with the yellowing and what's going on with those leaves. Something else that could be going on is the plant might have been in there for a while. It could be root bound.
Which is what happened to our previous.
Yes.
It was way too, it didn't have any space.
Nope. And so when plants get root bound in general too, not only clematis but other plants, that stresses them out. Their roots literally can't find anywhere else to go to grab more moisture and nutrients for it to keep surviving and to keep it growing, because if it's growing on top and it's growing more mass on top, it wants to grow more mass down below. There's that root to shoot ratio of that balance that it needs to keep everything growing and healthy. So once it gets stressed down below with a type of, well, I guess not a type, with circling roots and being root bound, you'll see that above. There'll be signs of that above in a lot of plants. Not all plants, some plants thrive under those conditions. But I think clematis is one of them that if it starts getting root bound, it gets really root bound, it's going to show that stress on top. And that could be what's going on too. So if you've had that plant in that pot over many years, that could be part of what's going on.
I know, that makes me wonder too. Sharon mentioned that, I think you said where is it occurring on the plant? She said it's at the bottom and kind of moving up, she thinks.
Ooh, okay.
So maybe it's, somebody in the chat had mentioned maybe it's getting too much sun. It's possible, clematis, some of them they like to have their roots kind of like protected, right?
Yes,
they like to be kind of shaded.
They like to be shaded or insulated.
So
Good
that
point.
could be
they like to be kept cool.
Yeah, so that could be it too.
Yeah, there could be some cooking of those roots going on too, depending on where you have it. If you don't have it in a really intense sun area, like the roots are protected and insulated, then that's probably not happening. But if it's in a pot and it's one side of it's getting direct sunlight all the time, it could be baking that side of the plant, and that could be stressing it out.
You could put like if there's room to put another plant in front of it, or just kind of try to shade it somehow. That might be a possibility. But it almost, the yellowing, the leaves dying. It almost sounds like an over or underwatering, but I know Sharon's probably on top of it, so that's interesting. Yeah.
So some options for you.
Yeah,
hopefully
sorry,
that
Sharon.
helped. Hopefully it gets healthy again. Sorry to hear that's happening.
I know, gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, looks like we're out of focus again.
Oh no!
The camera keeps focusing on our little beautiful elephant ear right there. We had to show that off. It's so cute.
It's beautiful.
I know, there it is. Okay, let's do the third question. This will be our last one before we get into content here. So this comes from Mary Grace Davies. This was on our, I believe, our African daisy
Yes, it was.
plant chat.
Sorry, I didn't write it down.
So, okay, Mary Grace planted some blue-eyed beauties. Oh, we love those.
Oh, yeah.
Those are so gorgeous.
Good stuff.
She planted them a couple of months ago, and they were doing really well. Now the plants are all green, but not flowering.
Yeah.
So any idea why? And then she mentions, I'm in zone 7 in the middle of North Carolina. It's been really hot there lately, she says. Do you think they need to cool down before flowering again?
Yeah, good question, Mary. And your instincts are right.
Yeah. I'm going to fix that.
Okay, thank you, honey. Your instincts are right, Mary. When you say does it need to cool down, African daisies, they like full sun to a point. But when it gets super intense and super hot, they actually stop flowering. It's actually a trigger for them to say, we're going to kind of go dormant now because this is a little too hot and too intense for us. So they will stop flowering under really hot, intense sun conditions. Once it cools back down, maybe to about 80 degrees or a little bit lower, they'll start developing more flower buds and continue to flower then. So yes, if they're in a pot, if you have them in pots, if you can move them out of the intense sun areas and kind of keep them a little bit cooler during the days here while it's hot out there in North Carolina, go ahead and do that. If not, it's kind of just a waiting game. Make sure they're hydrated, make sure they're getting plenty of water, they're getting fertilizer, keep them happy, and they will rebloom as soon as the temperature drops back down. So, good question. Yeah.
Gosh. So I think that's it for today, you guys. And I know, if you have any other questions, we're going to start getting into natural pest control.
Pest control.
I know there's some questions in here. A lot of people are having trouble with gnats, with thrips. Mark mentioned, thrips are the enemy of glads, and he was mentioning how we all talk about glads a lot on this channel.
We like our glads.
At some point we're probably, in fact, I think that's one of our plants that we chose as an example. So we're going to talk about glads a little bit.
Oh yeah, today.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
So because we all love our glads.
We're glad lovers.
I know. A lot of people are out kind of working in their garden and kind of listening.
Cool.
Neri was here. She said she's watching us, but she's working. So
we're out in the gardens with you guys.
I know.
That's fun.
That's so fun.
That's
so thank
super
you
cool.
so much for being here, everybody.
Awesome.
Real quick, before we get into our topic, we wanted to remind you that for the month of August, next month.
Oh, yes.
Well,
yes.
kind of next month. We're going to be taking topics from you guys. So I believe there's 4 Saturdays.
4 Saturdays.
We're running a contest for the month of August for audience topics for our lives.
Yep. So there'll be a winner. So what we want to do is we want to give you guys the chance to tell us what you want to talk about, what you want to hear about and see on these lives throughout the whole month of August on each one of those Saturdays. So we want you guys to give us topic ideas, and then anybody that gives us a topic idea, you'll be entered into a contest to actually win physical prizes, and we'll present those prizes to you on that Saturday when your topic is going to air. So and we'll announce everybody that's won before that, so you can know that we're going to be talking about your topic.
I know. Let's see. It was Dram Corporation. Dram makes awesome watering tools. You've probably seen us use them. We gave one away last week. Yeah. They sent us a bunch of just kind of like cool products to.
Yeah, they really did.
Kind of try out or give away or whatever we wanted to do with them. We thought we wanted to share them with you guys.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to be able to show you on air like what they are. We'll kind of do a mini unboxing
and actually how to use them.
Yeah,
we'll show you how to use them, and then what we're going to do is you'll be able. We're going to give you one gift anyway that just comes with. Yeah. So there's one gift that just comes anyway.
I just got a good idea for that.
So good ideas coming from the lady here. So one of those you'll have anyway, but then with the Dram products, you'll get to pick which one that you want on the live video. So and you'll just put it into the chat, and you'll let us know, and then we'll just take that, and then we'll send it to you.
Yeah, I know, that'll be fun. So
it'll be good.
We've had quite a few of you send us topic ideas already. We are officially running this contest now, so If you want to email us at seanandallison@spokengarden.com and give us your topic idea for the month of August.
Yes.
Again, if we choose your topic, then you'll win.
Yes. Yep. So please email us your topics. We can't wait to see them.
I know, we've had some really good ideas so far.
Yeah, really.
So let's get into some natural pest control, because a lot of us know there's some talk, and I'm kind of like, there's some talk about spiders in the chat right now, because they are such great predators for a lot of these pests. And yeah, it's funny. I'm like kind of terrified of spiders, but I don't mind the garden spiders. If they come in the house, that's a problem. I probably will run away and scream, but outside spiders, they're kind of there to do a good job, you know? And
there are friends out there in the garden. So, so they're good to have out there.
I know,
don't spray them if you don't have to.
I know. Ugh.
Right. So.
Okay, so we've got, let's get into our little slides.
So natural pest control, super cool. So I'm going to get up here.
It's like a massive topic, you guys. We can't possibly cover everything this morning, but we hope we can give you some ideas to kind of think about. There's Sean's going to explain. He's gone through many, many years of training for what he's going to explain.
Yes.
And
in my previous lives.
It's interesting. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. And there's so much to know too. And by no stretch of the imagination is this going to be a thorough discussion of natural pest control or IPM, as you can see.
There's a slug on the table. Sorry. I'm all jumpy now.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sluggy.
So we had a slug on our geranium. Interesting.
Uh-oh. That's not fun.
Well, I think...
Here, we'll go put them back outside.
Put them on there. Okay. Everybody's talking about spiders.
Okay,
so.
I'll be right back.
So again, I'll just jump in here. I don't know a lot about it, what Sean's going to talk about, of course, because he's done the trainings, but it's called Integrated Pest Management, or IPM. So wondering if you guys have ever heard of this. It's something that like an everyday gardener probably wouldn't consider, but it's basically categories of pest control. And what Sean's going to explain is how they go in order from kind of the least harmful, I guess you could say, to your garden, all the way down to like chemical, like unfortunately pesticides, insecticides, which would be your last resort. You wouldn't want to just run out and spray everything. At least we don't. We don't want to run out and spray everything in our garden. We want to try to take care of the situation with, other bugs, or like people are talking about spiders in the chat, just different predators. If you can attract those types of predators that aren't going to be harmful to you or your family, then that's always the best option. So there's lots of ways to do that, and there's lots of, every flower has different types of pests that might pop up. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna get back into this. Here we go.
So fun, guys. Yeah.
We took care of a pest who tried to break into the live here.
Darn you, slugs.
Oh, we have lots of slugs.
We do. We're sluggerific around here. So
sluggerific, yeah.
So IPM, Integrated Pest Management. Great system to help you control and manage pests in your garden. Basically, what you want to do is you want to take the least harmful...
I said it right. Yay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She knows her stuff. You want to take the least harmful method that you can to the environment and your surrounding your garden, and you want to use that to control the pests. And then, in severity, if the least harmful way to take care of the pest doesn't work, you take it up a notch, and you go to the next best thing. But also to integrate, so integrated pest management is basically using all these different methods of biological, environmental, cultural, mechanical, and sometimes chemical to take care of pests. And what you do is you use different pieces of that, of this system, to really come after your pests. So not only do you want to have a biological control for your aphids, like spiders. Spiders will eat aphids. They're great for that. But you also want to try to control the environment. You want to make sure that that the environment isn't conducive for those aphids to actually multiply and thrive. So, in something else, also, excuse me, too much coffee. I just told you a biological example, an environmental example for aphids. Also the cultural, meaning how you're growing your plants. You want to make sure that your plants are living their best lives, right? You want to make sure that they're getting enough water, they're getting the right amount of sun or shade, they're in the right soil, they're getting fertilizer, they're being grown in the zone that they need to be grown in. And so when you balance all of that out, when you grow the plants for their best lives and get them everything that they need, that's also part of IPM and making sure that you're growing them under the optimal conditions so they can be really strong and not be as susceptible to any pests that want to come in. If they have any natural immunity or resistance to those pests, it'll be at its highest functioning level when those pests come to call. So that's something right there. And then also, so mechanical, we're going to go over this a little bit later with aphids specifically, but I mean, there's a couple different ways to mechanically take care of aphids. And mechanical just means you're literally going and either using something mechanical to take them off, and in this case it could be water to wash them off,
right?
and it can be actually your hand to just take them off, knock them off. But also mechanical is actually shaking the plant. If you want to shake the plant, they'll fall off too, and that's a good way to do it. Yeah. And then lastly, there's always chemicals, and so usually in IPM, in any IPM system or program that anybody's applying either to their private residence or to a business or an organization, chemicals is usually the last thing you want to do because you don't want to harm the beneficial insects.
Right, I know, that's always a...
Because usually for like aphids, you have to use an insecticide, which is a pesticide made for insects. It's to control or kill them. And so usually the insecticides that, pesticides take care of the insects, they're usually not very selective. They're unselective, meaning they harm everything. That's an insect out there.
Meaning
the beneficials.
Like bees and...
Yep, bees, pollinators, everything that could take care of those aphids, you're also harming when you apply those types of pesticides. So that's why it's usually a last resort. And it's not only harmful to them, it can be harmful to the environment, and it can be harmful to us. You might not know this, but a lot of insecticides actually can hurt us because our nervous systems, and that's how most insecticides work, a lot of them do, is they impact and hurt the insects through their nervous systems. And we as humans are actually very close in how our nervous systems work with the insects. So when we apply those insecticides, we can also harm ourselves if we're exposed to it over and over and over again. So keep that in mind when you're applying insecticides.
Ugh, yeah.
It can be really crazy. And that's why you see when guys are out there, when people are out there applying insecticides, that's why they're suited up and they have the respirators and the goggles and the gloves. I mean, they look like spacemen. That's why they have them on, because they know when they apply that, it can impact them, and they might have to go to the hospital and get checked out if they get exposed to any part of that. So, yeah, anyway.
I know. Well, and I mean, we're going to get into this a little bit, but I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right?
It's a huge topic.
There's all kinds of natural sprays and things that you can make, which we've tried. We actually made a video last summer about some aphid sprays that we still kind of use, but
soap and water.
There's other things you can do as well, and we should have highlighted more of that in that video, but that video was just about the spray, and it's there are certain times of day that you can use that spray that would be better, because then you aren't harming the other pollinators. So that's something we can talk about too.
And totally, yeah. And so before we get into really that part of it too, when we put chemicals on here as part of integrated pest management, one of the control methods to do that, chemical can mean synthetic chemicals and pesticides, and it can mean also organic or naturally derived chemicals and insecticides. So and just because something is natural or organic doesn't mean it still can't be harmful to either us, our pets, or the environment. It all depends on how it's applied. Is it applied correctly? And what it actually is and how it works. So there's so much that goes into this, and by no means are we going to cover everything on that today. But we want to give you the basic tools here and talk about these 5 methods of IPM, integrated pest management, so you can start thinking about, if you want to start controlling a pest in your garden, start thinking them in these 5 different categories. And that's, again, biological, so like predators, and even there's different microbes that you can use, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So biological, environmental, cultural, chemical, or mechanical, and chemical. So anyway.
We'll get into some specific
really cool
parts.
stuff.
Should we show Susan's video?
Yes, show Susan's video.
Oh, it's a great video. Again, this is the book that we're giving away today. It's called the Vegetable Garden Pest Handbook. I said that backwards last time. But there's a huge carryover for flowers.
Oh, totally.
So a lot of us are into ornamental flower gardening, but there's so many pests. The way this book is laid out, it's just awesome. So Quite a few of you have entered already. If you want to enter our book giveaway, remember, just drop your name in the chat and let us know which pests you're battling right now and how the book can help.
Yeah.
How you're hoping the book can help.
Yeah, totally, you guys. Yeah, and as Allison said, you know, vegetable gardening, flower gardening, they cross over with pests because those pests are going to be out in your garden. If you have a vegetable garden or a flower garden, they cross over between the plants because they actually will eat on those plants. So it's interesting to think about it like that. So with that, let's show Susan.
It's a great video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. So guys, just to let you know, I'm going to hit a button and she's going to start talking. The video will come up and she's going to start talking right away. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. So here we go. And make sure, just want to make sure you're ready. So you guys ready? All right, here we go.
Hello, I'm Susan Mulvihill and I live in Spokane, Washington, which is about 300 miles east of where Sean and Allison live. My husband and I are on 5 acres. We grow everything organically, including vegetables, fruits, and plenty of ornamental plants. I am an author, a garden blogger, and I've shot over 300 how-to-garden videos on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about bugs. This is my new book, The Vegetable Garden Pest Handbook, and it is the guide that gardeners have been needing for ages. It covers all kinds of good bugs and bad bugs that you would encounter in your garden and has extensive information on effective, organic, research-based methods for controlling the bad guys. Now there's a huge carryover into ornamental gardening because in here are profiles on aphids, earwigs, cutworms, slugs, whiteflies, thrips, and so on. So let's talk about some of these crossover bugs in our gardens. I'm sure you'll agree that aphids are awful, and in our ornamental landscape, we typically see aphids on our roses, usually right under the flowers. And what you can do is just take your thumb and forefinger and run it along the stem and just crush the aphids on there. Another thing you can do is take a hose and blast them off the plants. Research has shown that they won't have the energy to get back up into the plant again. Another thing you can use is insecticidal soap that is specifically labeled for controlling aphids. The thing you need to know about insecticidal soap, however, is that it can be toxic to pollinators. So that means it's crucial to apply it either late in the day or very, very early morning when the pollinators aren't active yet. In the vegetable garden, I typically see aphids on cabbage family crops, so things like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, kohlrabi, and so on. But I have a secret weapon, and that is something called floating row cover. It's a lightweight fabric that lets air and moisture through it, but it acts as a physical barrier to keep aphids away from the plants. So as soon as I plant the seeds or seedlings, I cover the bed, and that keeps the aphids away from the plants. This works great. Slugs are a really annoying problem in both the vegetable garden and the ornamental garden. Slugs are nocturnal, so they're active at night. And what you can look for is large irregularly shaped holes in the plant leaves or a slime trail because they exude a type of mucus so they can move about. I don't have any problems with them on my dahlias, but I do know they can be a real problem for them. In the vegetable garden, slugs like to chew on sorrel, lettuce, spinach, and cabbage family crops, among other things. And this is a typical example of the types of munch marks that slugs make in a leaf. So what can you do about slugs? Well, I heartily recommend using an organic slug bait. That's because non-organic types contain metaldehyde, which is toxic to pets and other types of animals. The organic ones contain iron phosphate, which is safe for animals. So you sprinkle this on the soil surface in the troublesome area, they will eat it and die. We see earwigs in our vegetable garden, usually on corn or beans, and occasionally in the ornamental landscape. I suspect that earwigs are causing the damage to these leaves of my dahlia plants, and I am not happy about that one bit. So I have a fun DIY project to show you so that you can trap earwigs. I have cleared away some of the mulch, And this is a small container that has a snap-on lid. And in the lid, I have made some holes that are about 1/4 inch wide. And then I sunk this container down so that the lip of it is at the soil surface. Then I'm going to pour in about 2 inches of just a cheap vegetable oil and add a splash of soy sauce, which attracts the earwigs. They like that smell. I'll snap on the lid, and what will happen at night, hopefully, is they will smell the soy sauce, come to investigate, go through the holes in the lid, fall in, and drown. This trap works really great, so it's worth a try. Okay, those are my quick tips. Happy gardening, everybody.
So guys,
okay.
Yeah, so we're back.
We're back.
So wow, wasn't that cool?
I know. I learned so many cool tips. I never thought of soy sauce.
No, and you know she just knows so much. She's great, and she's got a lot more. You know, a lot of those were actually in her book. So right, I mean, so all of that came from her book. So there's so much more that she talks about in her book. So anyway, so. Yeah, super cool.
Thank you, Susan, for making that video
Susan.
Just for our live audience.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, maybe we should ask her and see if she can come back on for some other topics.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
for gardening.
She's available, definitely.
Totally. Yeah.
But you guys, okay, so that was kind of some carryover again between vegetables and flowers, and a lot of the pests that a lot of us are dealing with. Earwigs,
yeah,
and aphids, yuck, they're everywhere. So we have, what we're going to do is break down a couple specific flowers and some ideas for using the IPM strategies Sean was talking about in your garden. So maybe you've tried a lot of these, or maybe you haven't heard of maybe a few of these. So
yeah, and if you've tried these, let us know in the chat.
Definitely let us know.
Let us know if you've used it, how it went, what would you do it again? You know,
definitely. Oh, I wanted to mention earlier in the chat, Kim Matlock had a great tip that she had read or heard about, where you take Gladiolus bulbs and kind of roll them around in Diatomaceous Earth before you plant them.
Wow, that's
to keep,
cool.
You know, what was that for thrips, or what are the pests that get in the bulb, or like that? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that method before. That's cool. I mean, you know, hey Kim, if you're still here, let us know what pest you're protecting them from.
I think it's thrips.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But, okay.
Yeah.
Jennifer said she's battling earwigs, and she tried the soy sauce and oil trick, and it worked really well. The same one that Susan mentioned. So
that's cool.
Super cool.
Right on. We're going to be really small right here.
Oh, we're small.
That's cool. No worries. So you guys can still see us, but we're doing stuff.
Okay.
So who's
we have
eating?
2 earwig pictures.
who's eating my coneflowers?
What's eating my coneflowers?
What's eating my coneflowers?
So we came up with 4 common pests that attack coneflowers. We, you know, Mark and I and us have talked. We love coneflowers. I'm sure a lot of you out there love your coneflowers too.
Yep, coneflowers are awesome.
I know.
They're so beautiful. They're drought tolerant. They have beautiful flowers all summer long.
Oh, I love
but
coneflowers.
They can get eaten by these bugs and a lot more. We just picked 4 of them that we thought would be helpful. So first off, aphids and
everything.
You know, aphids are just, there's the little like potato looking bugs, and they come in a lot of different colors. They basically have little needles for mouths, and what they do is they stick their little needle mouth into the tissue of the plant. Usually it's on the very tips, the very new growth, and under the leaves, but usually in the new growth and the buds, they'll get into those areas, and they'll just stick their little needle nose in there, and they'll push in their saliva. It helps break up the tissue of the cells of the plant, and then they suck it all back out, and that's how they feed. But when they do that, they ruin those cellular structures in the plant, and that's why you'll see discoloration, you'll see little dots, you'll see wrinkliness and crinkled leaves. So it's the damage that they do, and this overall hurts the plant because then it can't photosynthesize as much. It can't efficiently turn that light energy into usable energy. And also aphids, when they're on a plant, they have this honeydew that they excrete. It's actually their waste. Some scientist somewhere gave it a nice little name, honeydew, but you know, we know what it is. And so what happens is when they put that honeydew on a plant, they excrete that out, it builds up, and it can actually act as a second infection for different types of mildews, you know, different bacterias and molds and stuff will grow off of that, because now it's almost like a sugar base for them to just eat on and grow from. So the plant's going to have a secondary infection of some type of molds and other diseases. So if you can, you want to get the aphids off. So this is what we got here. Oh,
well,
go ahead.
Just the nerd in me is kind of like interesting, because isn't that the honeydew? Isn't that what the ladybugs kind of herd them?
That's the ants.
Oh, ants. That's
Yes.
right. Ants herd them to use that honeydew somehow, right?
Yep. The ants will actually take the honeydew. Yeah, you're right. They'll herd the aphids into little packs. It's almost like the aphids are cattle now, and the ants are the ranchers, and they kind of they do
really interesting.
they basically mind the herd, and they harvest that honeydew and take it back to the ant colony, and they use it, they eat it. So that's kind of a nice way to recycle their honeydew, their waste, but it's still not good for the plant to have the aphids on there and feeding. So whether that's happening or not, you want to get the aphids off your plants.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a few tips, and there are many more, and Susan's book Susan's book offers a lot of good tips too. Really, really good tips for how to get rid of these specific bugs. So we're just going to kind of go over a few ideas.
Yep. So for aphids, you can definitely do biological control, and that can come down to like getting ladybugs out there, because ladybugs love to eat aphids. Isn't that cool? And ladybugs are cool anyway, because they're great to look at. They fly around. They're awesome, and they feel kind of funny if you put them on your hand. They kind of tickle you a little bit as they walk. It's kind of interesting. And so also for aphids, there's different kinds for biological control. There's a predatory wasp that'll actually lay its eggs
that's so gross.
in the aphid body, and the aphid can't control it. The aphid can't fight them off. So the aphid just sits there and takes it, and basically the egg will hatch inside the aphid. The larva will eat the aphid from the inside out, and then pop out, and then go about its biological process in life.
So what an awful way to go.
Yeah, parasites. Yeah, fun stuff.
I know the parasitic wasps affect a lot of other bugs and
you can
too.
And you can actually get the parasitic wasps from online retailers. We had it somewhere, now we don't have it, I think, but it's but you can find them online to buy and introduce into your garden. Something to keep in mind, whether it's the parasitic wasps or the ladybugs, if they have a food source in your garden, they'll stick around until that food source is gone, and then they kind of leave. So they're not going to stick around in your garden for the whole summer. They'll stick around to take care of and get on that food source, and then they'll go find more food once that food source there is taken care of. So just word of the wise.
Yeah, good to know.
So also for aphids, you can do chemical control, and there's also mechanical control. The mechanical control is kind of fun. You get to either knock them off, push them off, like I think Susan was talking about.
Yeah, she had some great tips.
Yeah, and then also water. You just sit there with your water wand or a little gun or something, spray nozzle, and just spray them right off. And it's kind of fun. You get to knock them all off.
Kind of what I've been doing every morning lately. Just try to get out earlier than the pollinators if possible, but just spray them down and get them off. But they keep coming back. So
it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But also there's chemical control, and what we have up here for the chemical control is definitely the soapy water. And was it that 1 part of soap to 10 parts water if you do the mix in any bottle or anything. There's also neem oil, and we just actually got some, and it's actually been working really well. We've been trying to keep it up every day, and it works really well. But make sure when you're using that, wear gloves and do not inhale the neem oil, and do not let it get on your skin, because your skin will absorb that spray.
Well, not only that, that's one you'd want to use early in the morning or maybe even late at night before or after some of the pollinators are around those.
Yes.
Because it's going to affect the other pollinators that you don't want to.
Neem oil will negatively affect other pollinators. So if you can, definitely, like you said, do it before the pollinators get there. So, so that's aphids. There's a lot of other control methods and ways to control aphids, but those are just some that we thought you guys would find useful and you can go out and apply right away. So next up for the coneflowers.
Earwigs. Now there's a star by this one, and we'll explain why in just a minute. But you can use a mix of cultural or environmental controls to try to get rid of earwigs. Yeah, earwigs. Keep your this is kind of a no-duh, but it's also good to remember. But just kind of keeping messes cleaned up. Yeah. Like any old organic matter. Like if there's a pile of leaves randomly or dead blooms that have fallen off. They like to hide and hang out under those. And
they eat the decaying matter. They're great at eating and consuming decaying plant matter or organic matter. So yes, like Allison said, have really good cultural practices in your garden. Keep things clean. But you know, the thing with earwigs is they're also predators for certain bugs, certain pests. They actually will go eat aphids. They'll
So
eat.
I kind of like that. But
Yeah.
then earwigs damage the flower too, so
Yes,
it's like
because they're omnivores. They'll eat other insects, but they'll eat plant parts. Not only the decaying matter, but if the plant material is soft enough, like flower petals and coneflowers, they'll eat the flower petals. Even they'll get in there before even the flower has a chance to even open up. The bud's still
Yeah.
closed. They'll get right in there and just eat that whole bud out. And so once it does flower, the plant still flowers, but you have this kind of sickly, eaten-looking flower, and it just looks gross. It just looks really bad.
That did happen to some of our flowers last year.
Yeah. So, yep, there's good things about earwigs and bad
I
things about
know.
earwigs.
So
yep.
moving on, Japanese beetles also can attack coneflowers.
Yes. Yes. So we have on here mechanical control. Basically, knock them off. You know, go out there and knock them off, or you can use a bucket. Oh, and use a bucket of soapy water to have them knock off into. So it's kind of not nice, but they drown. You kill them.
It seems
so
so
they
like-
don't come back.
Inhumane, but I know
It
they're
is.
eating all the flowers.
Also, a mechanical control, you might not think of it this way, but it is under the mechanical control method for controlling pests. Sticky pads, and basically, or sticky traps. And basically, it's just like a little trap like this. They come in little cards. They have a side. You don't want to touch it because it will stick to you, but you basically try to get that has a sticky piece underneath maybe, and it'll stick to a surface, or you can hang them around different plants. And because of some of the sticky traps, they will be color coded, so they're either yellow, blue, or another color, and that'll attract certain pests.
That's interesting to think about, like different colors. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and that's really fun because then they'll stick to that, and they'll starve to death on that pad. And so, so you're controlling the pest that way. There's also, for Japanese beetles, there's insecticides, but we didn't want to get into that on this.
No, we really tried not to use all that stuff. I mean, my thought would be plant other plants that'll attract the beneficial. You know, we didn't go into that too much. That's like a whole other branch of like natural pest control.
Yes, totally.
I mean, there's so many I don't know. There's so many things you can do.
There is. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
So, and then also for coneflowers, we have white flies.
Yes.
There's white flies up here. Definitely mechanical or
we do have
chemical
them.
control. I know we've seen them out there. Ugh. But yeah, strong water spray, like we've been talking about with like the aphids. And then there's also the insecticidal soaps that you can buy. And you might be able to make insecticidal soap at home with the DIY recipe if you're comfortable with that. So there's a lot of different options out there for that.
But again, and being mindful of spraying early in the morning or later at night when the other pollinators aren't active, because it can affect and harm those guys. We don't want to do that.
And if you buy any type of insecticide or chemical, follow the label instructions to a T, because it's been tested, it's been approved. So follow those directions. Read them through cover to cover before you use it. So. So that's coneflowers.
Oh, we've got a good tip. So first of all, we haven't had a chance to mention hi to Susan in the garden. Susan's here in the chat.
Hey!
So Susan, we're so thankful to you again for the wonderful video you made and all of your awesome tips. So, okay, we have a lot of people that have entered the book contest too.
Woo-hoo.
So, okay, Susan mentioned that yellow sticky traps work for the adult version of whiteflies too.
Good tip.
Good tip.
Awesome.
So, awesome.
Thank you, Susan.
I know.
Cool.
So our next flower is one that, hi you guys, hi Susan. So Gladiolus, we talk a lot on this live. We all love Gladiolus. In fact, one of our audience members planted like 300 bulbs.
Over 300.
Over 300, I
Gee,
believe like
Baldessano.
half of them are coming up.
Yeah,
So which
that's
is
awesome.
so like proud and thankful, or happy for G and his family. I believe they just had their other adoption just happened a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So we're
really happy for you
So
guys.
sorry, but I just saw that.
So, so Gladiolus. What's eating my Gladiolus?
So we've got 4 top offenders, and you'll notice a similar one from the last one. So aphids. Aphids just attack everything. We also have slugs and snails. We have caterpillars and thrips. Remember, we were just talking about thrips a little while ago.
Yes.
Some of you were having, Kim was mentioning having a lot of problems with thrips this year.
Totally. Yeah, so for aphids, definitely, like we talked about before, for the coneflowers, biological, chemical, or mechanical control. Lots of good options there for that. Slugs and snails. Oh my gosh, we have lots of slugs. Not a lot of snails, but they're here. So we don't really like to go out and do this, but the physical removal, sometimes that's your only option. Well, we like to use something called Sluggo.
Yeah,
and
Sluggo's pretty good.
and it actually works also for earwigs, not just slugs and snails, but it's labeled for earwigs. So it does a really good job with that. But another option for slugs and snails is Diatomaceous Earth, and basically it's like crushed up crustaceans from eons ago that people have dug up, and or you can get what is it, seashells, crush those up, oyster shells, crush those up, put them around your plants, make a barrier basically around them, and then the slugs will go across that. It like cuts them up. It's sharp edge. They don't like that, so it keeps them away from that. And also, there's the old tried and trues using salt on each slug and watch them dissolve. And then also beer, but I don't know about the beer. Why would you waste a good beer on getting rid of the slugs?
Unless you have a bad beer.
Use the beer that you're not going to drink or it's old or something. Yeah, So yeah, but those are really easy ways to take care of slugs and snails. Now caterpillars. We don't have a big problem with caterpillars
really
out here, at least not in the recent years. Now sometimes we get something called tent caterpillars, and they literally make like this cocoon tent-looking thing up in our trees. And they'll defoliate a tree, and it really hurts the tree because it loses all the leaves. But we don't get those a lot. So there's mechanical or biological control that we have on here, and you can literally just go up. If you don't have a lot of caterpillars, like on your Gladiolus here, go ahead and just go up and pick them off. It's okay, pick them off. You can put them in soapy water if you just want to kill them, or you can try and pick them off and go relocate them. I don't know, kind of depends on you and what you want to do. There's also, this is interesting, using cardboard or tinfoil underneath the plants, and it actually acts as a barrier, and the caterpillars
they just can't climb up.
They can't climb up. Yeah, it's interesting. We haven't used that yet, but
we haven't really needed to again.
Yeah. So there's something else too to control caterpillars, and that's called Bacillus thuringiensis. Thuringiensis. Latin names are fun.
Or just BT.
Or just BT, as everybody else says in the industry and stuff. Yeah, so Bacillus BT is, it's a microbe. It's an actively living microbe, and actually you can buy it either in powder form and get it activated, or you can buy it in a slurry already activated. And you apply it to the caterpillars, and it gets on them and it eats them. It's really not a good thing for them. Yeah, it's kind of not a nice way to probably go, but it's there. So, and then also for caterpillars, bring in birds and other larger insects to come in and eat the caterpillars. That's got to be a tasty treat for them, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we wouldn't watch that. I'd watch it. That'd be kind of cool to watch.
I don't want to watch it.
Okay.
So
and then
thrips are everyone's favorite thrips. So I'm sure there's a lot, and maybe Susan, if you have any other suggestions for us, if you're still here, let us know. We came up with chemical and mechanical controls. So of course there's some oils and different things, horticultural oil, insecticidal soaps. Again, being careful that you spray during inactive times for other pollinators, like we mentioned already. Natural pyrethrins, water spray, and spinosad. I'm probably saying some of these wrong. Spinosad insect spray. Something with the product spinosad, right?
Yes.
Do you want to explain a little more about that?
I had it. I can't remember all the details on spinosad.
Spinosad, I know. There's a lot to know about a lot of this stuff.
If you want, Google spinosad because it's really cool, and it helps take care of a lot of different insects, control a lot of different insects. And
it's in Sluggo.
Yes, it's in Sluggo. Yeah, totally. So, and we keep referencing Sluggo. Sluggo Plus is available on Amazon, and we continuously use it throughout the year around our plants. And basically, it's this little. It comes in little pellets, and you shake it around your plants, and it keeps the slugs and earwigs away, and just a couple other predators.
Yeah, Sluggo Plus will take care of your. It claims to take care of earwigs.
Yep. So slugs, snails, earwigs, and other pests. It's a great product, super cheap, and it's on Amazon. So Sluggo Plus, go check it out. So, but yeah, I think that's.
And then, so Susan had a couple ideas for thrips as well.
Oh, cool.
So strong blast of water, like we said, glue sticky traps, okay? Cardboard traps near your plants.
Oh, yes. Okay.
But it's always like, and those are awesome suggestions, thank you. In my head, I'm like, I don't want tinfoil or cardboard around my plants, but I guess if you want to keep the pests off, maybe you can sort of.
Maybe you can hide them.
Maybe you can hide it somehow.
Maybe.
I mean, especially with the foliage, you know, and if you have like layers of different plants, that'd be awesome because then you can kind of like hide things.
Yeah.
You know, different.
Or maybe you put everything out there to control the pest, and then when you have company over,
you take the cardboard away.
You're having a garden tour come through your house and your garden. Yeah, remove all that so it looks nice and tidy.
Just remember to put it back.
Yep, and then when everybody leaves, get it back out there.
I know.
So
that's funny. It's a lot of work, but it can.
Yeah. So
I know. Like Susan said, it depends on how desperate you are. Right? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
For aphids, we might try anything because it's been a bad year. Okay, so petunias. I can't remember which audience member was having problems with petunias and mentioned they were having some issues. So we're going to talk. Oh, look at aphids again. Leaf miners, caterpillars again, and spider mites.
Wow. Yep. Poor petunias. Aphids again. Same as the other ones for control, biological, chemical, mechanical control. Leaf miners. Now this is interesting. You think of, what's a leaf miner? Is it a little insect with a miner's hat and it's got the little, the little light on top and it's got a little pickaxe and it's out there? No, sorry. That was just, that's just me being silly. Leaf miners, they actually get into the leaf tissue itself. They dig into the leaf tissue and they'll tunnel. They tunnel through. And so if you see a nice green leaf and it's got these white or discolored tunnels in it, chances are it's probably a leaf miner.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of weird.
Really have those
we don't have
so
a lot of trouble with those.
Anyway.
But so for leaf miners, biological, mechanical, or chemical control. And so we've got the first up here for biological, parasitic wasps. Again, super cool. Yeah. Unless it's a horror movie.
Well, it's like, it just made me laugh because it's like Susan just said, how desperate are you? Because it's like some of you, kind of me included, might be a little terrified of like bees and not so much the like bumblebees and stuff. I like those, but like wasps and hornets kind of freak me out a little bit because they kind of get so aggressive.
They can.
And yellow jackets, but that's different. But it's like, if you want to control them, biologically, this would be a great option.
Yep. Go buy some parasitic wasps or have them delivered and release them out into your garden and see what happens. Hopefully they take care of your infestation. There's probably going to be directions with those whenever you get either parasitic wasps or ladybugs. And so follow those directions when you get those. It'll really help you make sure you're getting the best control with that biological control that you're using. Again, Spinosad insect spray. Go check it out. Super cool stuff. We knew all this stuff yesterday, and we don't have our notes in front of us now. So sorry, guys. It sucks, but we're pushing through. And then also mechanical. There's blue sticky traps, like Susan was mentioning. Those blue sticky traps will attract them and get them stuck on there, and then they won't harm your plants anymore. Go ahead.
That makes sense. Well, I was going to say, Susan mentioned, and thank you for saying this, Susan, that the parasitic wasps are actually kind of small, so they're not as scary.
Oh,
so
okay.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, that's nice.
Not as horror movie-ish, but so not bad. And she mentioned that leaf miners are really hard to control. You probably know this because their larva is in the leaves.
Exactly.
So
that's where they get that. Yeah, that's where they're going through and making those tunnels.
How do you? What do you just sort of have to sacrifice the?
Cut the leaf off.
Yeah, you can cut the leaf off.
You cut the leaf off, and then you'll see the tunnel.
That's true. You would see it.
Just unfortunately, sometimes you don't want to cut that leaf off because then part of the leaf could still be photosynthesizing. So you remove that, but where's the balance?
Where's the balance?
Yeah.
And then real quick, shout out, good morning to kind of afternoon maybe now, but to Real Jingy. Real Jingy just jumped on.
Morning, Real Jingy.
He said he's pretty busy, but he wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Well, hi. Thanks for being here, man.
I know. So, okay.
Caterpillars,
kind of the same strategies we mentioned in the previous slide for the glads. So there's a lot of mechanical control types of
pick them off.
Types of options. So maybe we'll move on to spider mites.
Ooh, fun.
That's a new one. Yay, spider mites. So we've got lots of options for biological, mechanical, and or chemical control, kind of as the last resort, right?
Yep.
So we've got that insect spray, that Spinosad insect spray, neem oil. So those would be your chemical. We probably should order these a little different. But water spray would be a mechanical, way to just a spray of water, just try to hose them off. Predatory mites.
Fun.
Sounds awful, but it would work. Biological control, right?
An entomologist.
I know, everybody's like, ooh, bugs.
Yeah,
I'm
bugs!
Kind of gives me the creeps a little bit, but and then pyrethrin.
Yep.
Pyrethrins for spider mites.
And that's
there's probably tons of other.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of other.
tons
There's
of
a lot of other stuff out there. So just so you guys know, pyrethrins, it's a naturally occurring insecticide. I can't remember if it's from the tobacco plant or it's from a specific plant, but it's a naturally occurring insecticide that can be harvested, processed, and then used as a spray or in another form to kill insects. So there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's so much to know, you guys. Like
Oh
Mark
my
mentioned,
gosh.
Mark was saying earlier that we could all like go on and on for weeks.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could do like a whole month of lives on nothing but like natural pest controls.
Oh yeah,
There's so
whole,
much to know.
Yeah, there's whole college courses on nothing except IPM and even just insecticides. And I mean, you could spend months studying just one aspect of this and still not know everything that there is. It's crazy, but it's good to have all this information because we can pick and choose what's going to work best for us. So really cool. So, and then I think that's our last slide for the IPM and natural pest control.
Yeah, I believe so, because again, we could go on and on. I mean, a lot of these pests attack obviously other plants around. Like we have a couple geraniums here and one of our elephant ears, and so far so good. But we're having a rough year here, and it sounds like a lot of you are as well. I mean, it's kind of par for the course. You bring in all these beautiful plants and flowers, and the pests are going to find us.
Well,
and find our gardens.
Yeah, they totally do. And a lot of us are experiencing some different climates, some different temperatures, and some climatic changes going on. And that in and of itself will stress the plants out that usually do fine in our gardens. And with that stress comes more insects, because when the plants are stressed, insects know this. There might be a trigger, they might sense it, or they might just get on the plant and the plant's more susceptible to its damage. So with that stress opens up more opportunity for pests. So want to make that point. So if you're seeing a different type of climate that you usually don't see, or there's been some differences, watch out for the pests and be on alert. So so I think that's it right there. So unfortunately this time, this week, we didn't see, nobody sent us their what's flowering in the garden.
Yeah, I know.
So we didn't get anybody emailing us.
I know, but we hope to encourage you guys out there. A lot of you have already sent us photos from previous weeks that we could highlight and kind of show off your gardens a little bit. So definitely send us your pictures so we can see them and show them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and so please, we'll put this up on the screen here. If I can do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, send us your garden photos. We want to know what's going on in your guys' gardens. What trials and tribulations you're going through, what you're seeing success with. We want to see it all. If you want to share that, we'd love to hear from you. So definitely email us at seanandallison@spokengarden.com and let us know if it's okay to share these with everybody here on these weekly lives, and we'll get it up here, and it'll be so cool to show what you're doing and how you're doing it. So yeah, we can't wait to see what you guys are doing. So yeah, so please send us
or tag us.
Yeah, or tag us on social media at Spoken
Garden. Which a lot of you do on Instagram already. So yeah, continue doing that so we can show some of your photos.
And so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sorry, I'm
get that back there.
Chat here. So we've got a couple things to show you. We always we do audience photos, and then we show what's going on in our garden as well. And again, just a tiny sampling, right? We all have a ton of stuff.
So what's growing in our garden? What's flowering in our garden? This is so cool, you guys. There's these dahlias that we planted them last year.
Boy, those orange dahlias probably, that was at least 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay, so it's a couple years past. So in the upper left-hand corner there, you see that flower. It's about to really open up. It's starting to open there. So this is one of our dahlias.
This is one of the only ones that we didn't take out of the ground last year to move to the new dahlia beds we were telling you guys about. Yeah. We made these new raised beds full of dahlias. Yeah. We decided to leave this. This was a huge bulb cluster, and we decided just to leave it as is because it looked really nice.
And this year, this spring, they came out of the ground great guns. There was really so many stems popped up, and we were so surprised.
I just love the way they unfold. Isn't that just so beautiful? How they just. In fact, I just took this photo yesterday, and the day before, the outer petals hadn't even started opening yet. It was all tightly wound in a little ball.
Yep.
It's so beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah. So, and then that center upper picture, we have carnations, and they're just still going strong
They're
out
beautiful.
there.
That came
Yeah.
from a wild seed mix that we didn't even realize had dianthus or carnations, you might call them. And they're all over this area in many, many different colors. They're beautiful.
Yep, we've got white, we've got pink, and then we've got this beautiful double colored
Love
flower
that.
here.
I know.
Yeah, it's
That
amazing.
was a nice surprise this year.
Yeah. That upper, what is that? That's the
That
upper
is
right-hand corner.
Yeah. Speak, Sean.
Hey,
It's the heat. I'm blaming
the
everything
heat.
on the heat.
that's our Calabroca.
That is
Calabracoa.
a beautiful TikTok grape that was sent to us from Doom and Orange. It's a trial Calabracoa or Calabroca, however you say it. I believe Susan's growing that as well. We both got sent the same flowers, I think. That is coming out on the market next year for 2022. So that's cool. Look how beautiful that is.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Love that color. Lower left-hand corner, these are our Bidens that we got.
In the front there, yeah.
Yeah, that lower, that orange-looking flower right there, just gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And this is the first year we've grown these. We were sent, these were sent to us, but this Proven Winners.
Yeah, yes, Proven Winners. Yeah, I know.
We've got a couple of
we keep
companies
them all
sending us
straight.
stuff, so I was like, which
Where are
one's
they
which
from?
sometimes. Bidens are beautiful.
know,
We're
I
finding out.
love
We're
them.
finding out they're doing great in our garden.
They're
You
doing
can see
really
here.
well. Well, they bloom really bright color, and then they fade to that lighter orange that you see. I love that. I love it when flowers change color through the season. You just get to keep on enjoying them through. It's cool.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah, there's a couple other flowers behind there, but in that picture. So center lower picture, that's a zinnia.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, I keep jumping in. I get so excited. Red yellow bicolor, I believe is the name. That's an AAS winner.
It lives up to its name. Look at that.
It does.
Red
Look at that.
yellow bicolor.
Talk about another plant color changer.
Yeah, when I first saw this, you guys, I forgot that we actually had this plant, and I saw that flower, and I thought, is that a blanket flower?
It kind of does look like a blanket
Oh
flower.
my God.
Without
Yeah, and then Allison's like,
knowing
no,
the
that's
rest.
actually our zinnia. That's our new zinnia out there. It's like, oh man, foiled again.
It's a little
So-
deceiving because it's actually a very small flower. This was the
is.
first one to bloom. So
But yeah, it's just gorgeous.
that's so pretty, Oh, and actually, we have the same photo of a plant on our table here. This is one of our first elephant to pop up. So this is just a basic elephant pack from Eden Brothers. In the back left corner there, see that beautiful kind of skinnier?
Darker green.
Yeah, that's an illustrious. Sorry, I'm saying illustrious. Blaming the heat.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. From Eden Brothers. So if you remember, we grow. See, now I can't talk at all. Start over. Okay. Eden Brothers sent us about 9 different bulbs to plant, or they let us pick out what we wanted, and we're growing a lot of them for you guys to kind of trial them and see how they go.
Yep, and they're doing really well so far. The ones that have come up.
I know a couple of them got moldy, you guys. We have to be honest. We may have overwatered a couple of them.
Just a little bit, but things happen. And so that's what's growing and flowering in our garden.
So what is your favorite flower or plant that's growing or flowering in your yard right now? We'd love to hear. Drop it in the chat and let us know. Yeah. Also, this is the last call to enter the book giveaway for Seasons in the Garden's awesome new book. Would you like to hold?
I would love to hold it.
The Vegetable Garden Pest Handbook, which is an amazing book. It's just so well thought out and so well organized. It also is very transferable to flower gardens. Yep. So those of you that are kind of like, I'm not sure how I can use that because we like flowers, the pests are pretty much the same. So definitely get your name in the next minute or so here, and we'll do the drawing. Yep. So
just showing
it's a beautiful book.
Some of the pages. Just look at all this great pictures. Oh, look at that! Oh, there we go. Yeah. Neat. I love that picture.
No, actually, it is kind of fun for those of you that like photography, like I do, and like Susan does. It is kind of fun to shoot insects because you get to get your macro lens out and just the detail that you wouldn't normally see is so amazing.
And it's a living thing that you get the privilege to photograph and capture. That's fun in itself.
It is kind of enjoyable, except for spiders. Although most of you would argue that they're beautiful, but I don't want to take pictures of spiders. It's a little nightmarish. Okay, for me.
Okay,
again, let's get you entered. We've got a couple videos to share, or not videos, but just a list of our videos real quick. We can get that up while you guys are getting sorted out here.
So guys, this this week we had 3 videos. We had our short on Monday, and it was how to deadhead petunias. Super cool. Some of you might already know how to do this, some of you might not. And so we wanted to make a really quick, under a minute video to show you really quick how to deadhead your petunias. And it was a fun video to make. That was a lot of fun. We just love petunias anyway. So next up was we made a video for perennials, about perennials for shade that bloom all summer. And this was fun. We've been wanting to redesign a part of our garden in the backyard that was just covered in vinca. I mean, just literally covered. You couldn't even, nothing else really grew in there because it just blocked it all out. So it was really cool to be able to rip the vinca out for one.
Oh, that was satisfying.
Yeah, so nice. And then we have these plants from proven winners that we're trialing. And we put them in there. They're, what was it? It was hostas.
Oh, we had some beautiful
heuchera,
hostas, yes. Dianthus, or
Dianthus.
Sweet Williams, or carnations.
Yeah. There was also begonias, a couple different kinds of begonias.
Which we grew from boy, where are those from? Longfield Gardens. We got those at Costco.
Yeah,
those turned out to be really
awesome,
healthy. And
yeah. Then there was the Tacoma.
The Esperanza.
The Esperanza Tacoma.
It's
beautiful. Chiclet orange.
Chiclet orange. It has these little, the stem has like all these little orange little trumpet, almost looks kind of,
Well, watch the video. Go
I'm
watch the
trying
video.
to think, like, how do you describe that? All you need to know is they totally attract hummingbirds.
Yeah. It was really cool. So go watch that video, see what we did. We explain how we spaced things out, and then we planted them. And there's time lapse. Time lapses are always fun. So then our last video for the week was yesterday, and that was our Plant Chat Friday, and we did double impatiens care, and that was really fun. And they're super versatile, shade-loving plant. So yeah.
We were laughing because we're thinking, we always plan, if those of you are familiar with this, every Friday we feature a different plant and we talk about its care and how cool it is, and we gush about it a little bit.
And then how to apply all those care needs out into your garden.
We have too many plants that we want to show you guys this year, and we're
so
like,
many.
How are we going to get these all in? I mean, we're full all the way through
September
or maybe October.
Yeah.
There's a lot of plants we're not going to be able to highlight, so we'll have to weave those into other videos somehow.
We'll do it.
We'll have to figure out a way.
If you guys have an idea how we can do that, let us know.
Some other plant care type things.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Ooh, maybe. Well, okay. I was going to say maybe that's for August Lives, but that's different.
Yeah.
So I think we are. Oh, Mark wants you to wear a lab coat, by the way.
Really?
He said. Remember I forgot about this, Mark. You mentioned this a while ago. He mentioned that you. Let's see. Oh, we'll have to read it in the chat, but about your explanation, he was calling, it was the pruning, some of the pruning care stuff that you were talking about a couple weeks back. And he was saying that you did really well and you should, now this week you were talking about the combustible engine. I know, nerd alert, right? We're both nerds, so it's like.
I don't mind lab coats, I'll wear one, sure.
Yeah, I know. Well, not today. It's really hot up here right now. Are you guys ready to find out who won this book?
Yes. So how many people do we have?
We have, let's see, 7 people have entered, and we're sorry that there maybe I can't talk. There may have been more, but we had the tech glitch earlier where we had to leave one live stream and come to the next. So
if
afraid that we might have lost some viewers.
If you were one of those people that did enter in our first try, not this redo, in that video early this morning, if we missed you and we didn't put you into this drawing, let us know. We'll send you something else because we don't want to exclude you. So we'll figure out something else to send you. Because we don't want you to miss out. So we'll figure something else out. So let us know, Sean and Allison at Spoken Garden, and we'll definitely figure it out.
Okay.
So, sorry again that we're missing you.
I'm sorry we had the tech. Okay, so here we go, you guys. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
I'm doing a little wheel spinny thing with everyone's name in it. This is how we do all our contests. And
awesome.
Yay, Andrea B is the winner.
Woo!
Andrea B.
Cool. All right.
Woohoo.
Andrea.
You win a copy of Susan's awesome new book.
Yes.
We will get this sent out to you in the next week. Actually, it's going to be coming from our publisher.
So, Andrea, we're going to need you to email us your mailing address and email us at Sean and Allison at Spoken Garden. Email us your mailing address and please no P.O. boxes. We can't have a book delivered to a P.O. box, right? It just won't fit. I don't think most P.O. boxes are this big. So, and in the subject line, if you can put Natural Garden Pest book winner or something to that
about
effect,
book winner.
let us know, And so we'll be able to find your email real fast and get this book to you. Good job.
I know,
Woo-hoo.
this is so cool. Everyone's congratulating her in the chat. And that's always so exciting, you guys. You know we love giving things out to you.
We totally do.
The whole month of August, we're giving something away every day related to, well, not related to.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday we'll be giving something away.
Not
if
every
you
day.
want to enter
Yes.
the contest,
Please
pick
enter.
a topic
Yes.
for us to discuss. And again, we didn't really say this yet, but so let me back up. We're running a contest in August. Every Saturday, we're going to feature our topic that we always discuss will be one of your topics. So we want to ask you to submit your ideas and things that we can do in our space, right? Like,
Well,
not
things-
like pruning a cherry tree or something like that, but
No, because that's not really the right time to prune a cherry tree anyway.
and there's that too.
But a good example. I'm glad you said that. I know, yeah.
parameters,
within
yeah.
reason, within seasonality.
Yeah.
Kind of
Oh,
keep
that'd
it in
be fun.
seasonality because
Yeah.
then it'll help everybody else. So yeah, send us your ideas. You can either it's just Sean and Allison at SpokenGarden.com. Send us an email with your ideas. A couple of you already have. We've already got Rhonda Testa who's emailed us. We've got G Baldessano. He's emailed us.
We have a couple others
and
I haven't
there's
written
more.
on the list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
so
definitely some ideas.
we're literally keeping a list of who emails us and
Very
what
high-tech.
topics. Yes, super
High-tech list.
So yeah, we want to know what you guys want to learn about in the month of
do.
August to help you in your gardens. And so this is your chance to literally tell us what you want to learn about so we can present it live on here. And you get to win a different range of things that we'll present to you and let you know a little bit more about in the next couple weeks.
Definitely.
What the prizes will be. So yeah,
So, I mean,
super
that's,
cool. Exciting.
That's really exciting. We have some great topics coming up for July, even though they kind of are in flux as far as dates a little bit. But coming up
Oh yeah, totally. Good
next
job.
week.
Yeah.
So, actually, we should preface. Next week is July 4th, the holiday for the U.S.
Yes.
We're going to be taking that Saturday off. We hope that that's okay with you guys because a lot of us meet here every Saturday and we love kind of starting our weekend with this chat. And we thank you all so much for letting us know that that's how you enjoy starting your weekend.
Thank you, you guys.
So we're going to take a little break. We're going to take Saturday and Sunday off. So no live on the 3rd
Not alive that week.
and no video on the 4th.
Nope. So, but we'll be back with our short that Monday,
We will, yeah.
and
And we'll have a
excuse me.
Friday plant chat on the 2nd. So this next Friday.
and then our next live will be the 10th of July.
Yes, and we're going to be talking about edible garden flowers.
Ooh, fun.
So that's kind of a fun topic, right?
You get to grow. You get to grow the flowers, and we get to eat them.
So yeah, just different
Awesome.
options. Maybe some things. Some you probably know of that we all know of.
Sorry, I'm
like,
being a little facetious, but it's fun.
pansies or whatever.
Right?
yeah, but there might be a few that you've never thought that you can actually are edible.
I know. Really
So
cool.
that's going to be. I always love
Yeah.
our topics because I always feel like I learn so much too. It's fun,
too.
and you guys always have such great tips and ideas.
Yeah, totally.
So edible garden flowers.
Edible garden flowers.
So I
Really cool.
guess with that, you guys, we're not going to be able to see you until July 10th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so-
really stay safe out
Yeah.
there.
Be
right?
super safe. Hydrate. Stay out of the sun.
Lots of hydrate. Yeah.
Don't get hurt with any fireworks or being around them, please. And drive safe,
Yeah, I know.
please.
Yeah,
Please
just
drive
be
safe.
careful. Have a wonderful 4th of July
Yeah, you guys.
holiday if
Woohoo,
you
4th
celebrate.
of July.
And thank you for being here. Thank you all for your patience
Thank
as
you
we
guys.
had to,
Oh.
like we said, we had the tech problems. We
Thank
had to
you for that.
flip from one live to
was-
the next. We've done 2 lives today now. So we want to say a huge, huge thank you to Susan and from
Oh, yes.
Susan's in the Garden.
Thank you, Susan.
Please make sure and check
you so
out
much.
and subscribe to her YouTube channel. She has awesome tips, awesome videos.
Oh, yeah.
If you're in the Spokane area, she has a weekly column,
Yeah.
the Spokesman Review.
Spokesman Review newspaper. Yep. Yep.
And definitely check out her channel.
Yeah,
So
totally. Lots of great stuff on there.
We're very thankful.
So, yeah.
So it's probably it, right?
I think so. I
I
think
we're
that
all,
is.
it's really
yeah.
warm up here.
Really
and,
warm. We're
you guys-
upstairs. The
it's
heat's
a
all
little
up here,
hot
so we
here.
might be sweating a little
Plus
bit.
we're
on the video.
drinking tea and coffee, so that's probably the best idea.
So stay cool, stay hydrated. Until we see you next time, and thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you so much, you guys. Take
Yeah.
care, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple weeks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.